Have you ever looked into the darkness and wondered what might be lurking there, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal itself? Welcome to Shadows and Whispers, your weekly refuge for stories that will mess with your mind and pull you into the unknown. Prepare yourself for a journey of horror and science fiction, where each story is a new door to the beyond. Here, the shadows whisper secrets that may make you question your reality. Each week, you'll be surprised by unique narratives that will make your heart race and your imagination soar. But don't forget to not miss any of these spine-chilling stories. Subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. By doing so, you'll always be the first to know when a new terrifying story drops. When you subscribe, you not only step into the shadows, but also gain access to exclusive content, story tips, and interactions with other fans of the supernatural. Don't let the shadows slip away from you. Join us on this thrilling journey. The shadows are waiting for you. The endless road to nowhere. Jake had been a truck driver for nearly 15 years. He knew the country's highways like the back of his hand, but something about that night unsettled him. The weather forecast was clear, and his urgent cargo needed to be delivered to a distant state. There was no avoiding the secondary highway, which, although longer, was less prone to traffic jams. "Let's do this. I'm used to these damn empty roads," he muttered to himself, lighting a cigarette as he maneuvered the truck down the unfamiliar path. The road seemed longer than he expected, and by the time the clock struck midnight, he realized there were no signs of life. Nothing. Just the truck's headlights illuminating the asphalt and the constant hum of the tires. He tried tuning the radio, but all he got was static, as if the road itself carried an aura of desolation. That's when he saw it. A rusty old sign with the name of the town he was heading to. But something was strange. The name was incomplete, as if it had been erased by time. He stopped the truck and got out, looking around, but the only thing visible were twisted trees and thick fog that seemed to appear out of nowhere. This doesn't make sense, he thought, trying to stay calm. He accelerated, hoping to get off the strange road, but it felt like it had no end. Every turn led him to the same stretch, no visible changes. Then, he spotted a figure ahead, standing by the side of the road. A woman. She was dressed in old-fashioned clothes, almost as if from another time. Her expression was vacant, but her eyes were fixed on the truck, as though it was the only thing that mattered in that moment. Jake slammed on the brakes. "Need help?" he asked, his voice hesitant, but the woman didn't answer. She just stared at him, her gaze seeming to penetrate his very soul. "Hey, are you okay?" he asked again, now more worried. But before he could open the door to get out, she slowly turned and walked into the darkness, disappearing into the fog. Jake decided to keep going, more out of necessity than desire, but the road continued to distort. The GPS wasn't working, and the landscape seemed to repeat itself, as if he were driving in circles. "This is crazy," he thought, trying to keep calm. He accelerated, trying to leave the place behind, but the road just kept going, unchanged. As the unease grew, Jake noticed something even more disturbing. In a curve ahead, he saw a lighthouse, its light extinguished, standing alone in the middle of nowhere. Intrigued, he slowed the truck. When he stopped by the lighthouse, a chill ran down his spine. Something was watching him. He got out of the truck and walked toward the lighthouse, his footsteps muffled by the thick fog. When he got closer, the door of the lighthouse opened on its own, revealing a staircase leading down into the basement. "I can't be the only one here. Someone must know what's going on," Jake thought, his anxiety mounting. He descended the stairs and entered a dark room where he found a map of the road, a map that shouldn't exist. The map showed the road he was on, but with markings for alternative routes that repeated endlessly. The name of the town, now complete, was listed, but the map had one section that froze him in his tracks: the road to nowhere. The voice of a man, low and raspy, made Jake jump. He spun around quickly, but no one was there. "You're trapped, just like the others," the voice said, louder now. "No one gets out of the lost route." Jake looked around, panic setting in, but still, no one was visible. It was as if he was being surrounded by something invisible, something that knew him better than he knew himself. He ran toward the exit, but when he reached the staircase, he stopped suddenly. The woman from the road was there again, but this time, she wasn't a distant figure. She was right in front of him, a cold, unsettling smile on her face. "You realize it now, don't you? she said, her voice now clearer. "This road, you were never meant to travel it." Jake took a step back. "Who are you?" "I am what you will become," she replied. "Everyone who enters here becomes part of the cycle." That was when Jake realized the horrible truth. The road, the lighthouse, the woman, they were all part of an endless cycle. He had already passed this road years ago, and now he was doomed to repeat it all over again. Jake, overwhelmed by the pain of his discovery, tried to flee, but something pulled him back onto the road. The fog now seemed thicker, and the trees began to move, as if they were alive, watching him. He looked at the truck's clock. The hours weren't passing. Time had stopped. He was doomed to relive the same journey, the same death, over and over. When he finally accepted his fate, a deep, desperate scream echoed. The truck was stuck, the wheels refusing to turn. He glanced at the rearview mirror and saw a version of himself, but younger, more desperate. The true horror came when Jake realized he had never been the first to make this trip. He was just another soul that now wandered here, forced to continue the cycle, not knowing they were the very shadows of someone who had once tried to escape. Jake tried to fight against the inevitable, but there was no way out. He was trapped on a road that led nowhere. His final attempt to escape was in vain, as he realized that somewhere along the way, he had already died on those roads, and now he was just another distorted version of a man who once tried to escape. The last sound he heard was the truck's engine slowly dying, as if the road had consumed him entirely. And there you are, you made it to the end. Thank you so much for sticking around for another story here on Shadows and Whispers. Your presence is what makes this channel special. If you enjoyed what you heard, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. It helps us grow and brings even more terrifying stories to you. And how about sharing this video with that friend who loves macabre tales? That way, you can dive into this dark world together. We thank each and every one of you for joining us. Your company is extremely important to our channel, and together we will create a community where shadows and whispers never fade away. Until next time, and remember, in the shadows, there's always a new story waiting to be told. Here are some of my recommendations for you to watch, if you have the courage.